Hello, and welcome to French Fried Trains. It's Sunday, July 27th, 2019. We weren't really rail fanning as I was busy that day, but while coming back into town, we noticed we had a green signal. So I stopped in the park here to record it. I had to wait there for about 15 minutes before the northbound train finally got there, but here he comes now. You could hear this guy from a long way off because one of his locomotives was making a very distinctive sound here. A pair of ET-44 AHs lead this northbound train through the crossing. A manifest train with a little bit of everything on board. Some interesting tank cars with indents on the side for the ladders. This train even has some auto racks on it, which are usually reserved for their own train. Some interesting characters painted on the side of that boxcar. An old Rock Island covered hopper. Awesome. And the end of the train is a cut of empty steel slab cars, a very common sight here on the Toledo Sub. Once his bottom end went by, the signal went immediately to lunar, indicating another train was coming up behind him. I waited there as long as I could, about 10 more minutes, but unfortunately I already had plans and I had to leave, so I didn't catch the next train. Later that evening, I was able to get back out in railfan at our normal spot, and the boys from Michael Gibson's train channel came and kept me company. Always a pleasure to talk to other fellow railfans. They informed me there was a northbound coming, which was good news because I had been sitting there for a long time at that point. So we all settled in to watch this northbound train come. You can see them in the video there. They're taking their own video, so make sure you check out Michael Gibson's channel to see what their camera saw. An auto rack train, led by a single ES-44 ACH. There's also a second locomotive running distributed power in the middle of the train. Northbound evening auto racks, a common sight here. And now we're into a cut of automobile frames. And there's that second locomotive, an ET44AH. On this line, it's usually a safe bet that if you see an auto rack train with just a single locomotive on the front, there's going to be distributed power somewhere in that train. Unless it's a short, empty, or extra train, then sometimes they'll run with one locomotive. But more often than not, you're going to have that distributed power. After he went by, we all headed for home, as it was getting late and it was getting dark. The next day, on Monday, the 28th, I came back out after supper time to our normal spot, and I was in luck. When I got there, the southbound signal was already showing green. Someone was coming. A southbound manifest train with an ES44DC leading and an ES40DC trailing. The ES40DCs were units that used to be ES44DCs, but they were rated down to 4,000 horsepower. The original customer for the ES40DCs was Norfolk Southern. CSX later derated a bunch of their ES44DCs into the ES40DCs. Lots of steel slabs on this guy. Some covered hoppers and tankers here. And the door of that boxcar is open. Lots of gondolas and then a tanker bring up the rear of this guy. Once this one went by, I waited around for another 45 minutes to an hour, and the southbound signal went green again. We had another one coming. I got a nice horn salute from the engineer there, with another ES40 DC leading this auto-rack train. At this point, I was completely soaked, because after I had noticed the signal was green again, this train didn't show up for another half an hour after that. And the clouds were rolling in, and it had already rained and dumped on me for about 10 minutes. But I was determined to stay out and catch this guy because I knew he was coming. Due to the clouds, the lighting wasn't the greatest, so this video is a little blurry and I apologize. An old Grand Trunk auto rack. Some of these auto racks were full and some were empty. And there's the end of train device flashing away. After he passed, I was fully expecting to go home. As it was after 8, it was getting dark, and I was cold and wet from being rained on. But, as you can see in this blurry zoom shot here, right after I pressed stop on the last video, the signal went lunar. There was another one coming. So I stuck around another 15 minutes to wait for him. And he was a bit of a unique train. A single ES44 DC pulls this empty train, clacking away down the rails. All of these odd racks on these specially modified flat cars are used for transporting long sections of continuous rail. And that's all we have for you now on French Fried Trains. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great week, everyone.